All right, so we are recording. So Benna, go ahead and share
Okay, so
about Bob Pollock.
so the Bob Pollock, this is his onboarding and training system toolkit. And like I said, we probably know all of this, but we're either not doing it all or we're doing it, we don't realize we're doing it, but it's a system, and who knows, there might be something in here that hits a point with somebody. Anyway, 4 key components to effective onboarding. The first one, clearly defined. Your system should be clearly defined steps over a predetermined series of days. We know that. And that it should be simple, that anyone can follow, and it should be simple enough that even a first grader can follow it. Then number 3, tool-based. Your system should not be 100% you training them. We know that. And action-oriented. Each step of their training should get them into action. So we know all of this, but are we doing it?
Well, I will say I think it still goes back to the individual, because I have units set up in my group, and one is strictly for when they log in, or if they want to just have like a revamp their business. And Crystal is on here, and she's on in my group, but she's not on my team, but she's in my group. And she'll tell you I have units set up, so anything that they need, but sometimes I don't think it still goes back to if the person's going to do it or not, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you with Project Broadcast and the way you have your drip system set up, you're clearly defined, you make it simple. The third one was tool-based, so that you're not the one training them, show them where to get and teach them how to go to.
Right. So that's what I have, what to do if you're just in this to get your products at a discount. In that unit, I have, well, what if you want to make money? Let's talk about your family and friends.
So you're doing this.
Yeah. So you can put it in your Facebook group, and not everybody is in Facebook, which I know I'm trying to get back on the email system, but same thing if they don't want it. So then I would be hitting them. I email people, but I don't email my new reps like I used to.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I just think it was just one more thing, that.
Well, especially with us having all of these new reps coming in, if we don't have a clear defined onboarding system, I think that may be where we're losing those that would have caught the spark. Some of them may not even catch the spark, but those that would, if we aren't directing them through at first, then they kind of lose interest. So.
Okay, so here's he's got about recruiting and prospecting and all of that, but this says getting started, and select your business path.
So is it like a website that you can work through, Benna?
No, this is actually a downloadable onboarding system.
Okay.
Can you put the link in here in the chat box?
You know what? I don't.
Just copy at the top of it and then go to the chat box and paste it.
Or
I've got it as already downloaded.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me move the Zoom meeting out of the way.
I'll look for it. So does anybody else, while she's working on that, does anybody else feel like that they have a really good onboarding system in place with your team that is working well, that you want to share?
I can't.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. I can share with you that we've been testing out a few, and even just hearing that, make it simple, duplicatable, going back to basics. And so obviously for the ones that we're bringing on personally, nothing from the system, but what we're bringing on personally, the first question we're asking them is, how much time can you set aside? And one of them said 5 hours. So I said, as your mentor, what I'm going to recommend of those 5 hours a week, it's your business, you can do what you want. But every Thursday night at 6 o'clock, our team, you can come on a Zoom for 1 hour. We start on time, we end on time, setting those expectations from the beginning. And then every other Saturday at 10 a.m. So one week, you'll have an hour training, the next week too. And then in those other hours is doing the Avon U training and being in a once a week conversation with whoever brought you into the business. The other thing that we're doing, going back to hearing Benna say about the email, is I'm sending a welcome email to everybody, giving them the link to our group, and doing a touch point as far as phone call a week later if I haven't heard from them. But the ones that we're bringing on, Tamara, who was on a couple weeks ago, her and I, we were really struggling on a lot of different things. And so together we came up with a tracking tool that we're using and that we presented to the team, and we're including that along with the memory jogger right from the beginning. So they can track their orders, they can track who they're talking to, some notes, what brochures, if they're doing a virtual brochure, etc. And every single new rep has put in over a $200 order since we've been doing that.
And you're putting a memory jogger and what else?
It's a tracker. I can share it on the group.
Yes,
it's something that on the left-hand side, so just to give you a, so you can hear me before you see the visual, on the left side is Avon orders, and it's what's the campaign number, what's the date range, and what's your goal. And then listing down their name, their phone number, what notes do you have for them or samples that you've given them? Because I don't know about all of you, but I'll give samples and I'll then forget what samples to even follow up with them on. And then being able to have which brochure you gave them and how much was your total. And at the bottom, there is for you, when the campaign's over for you, how, did you hit your goal? How far away were you? What was the difference? So that you can see it. And then on the right side, it's the same at the top, except the right side is about your follow-up, your conversations, not the people who are placing orders, but simply maybe it's somebody you met in the grocery store and you receive their contact information and you're going to reach out to them in a couple of days, whatever that looks like, because there's a what's next column. And so having multiple copies of these and having pre-planning, so in campaign 15, I was already pre-planning who I was going to be contacting in campaign 16 and 17. So therefore, when campaign 16 hit, I already had, there's 20 lines on each side. I already had 15 that I knew how I was starting that campaign, who I was reaching out to when campaign 16 flipped in my brain today. So I already have a good majority of my plan in place for this campaign. And it's super simple, easy, duplicatable, and I will be more than happy to share it in the group this morning.
Yes, please do. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a good onboarding system that you're using with your teams?
So I won't say that it's a good onboarding system, but it's what I have in place, and I've done it for a few years now. It's an email like sequence. So I have 12 emails that are sent out in their first 8 campaigns, and I use Constant Contact. And once I made the emails, I just add the new reps to this, and it automatically sends it to them. So like the first one is just a welcome, to connect to our team page, and then a couple other things. And then 2 days later, it has the like memory jogger, the that customer follow-up list. Yeah, a few other things. And then 3 days later, it's like different Facebook groups, like the Avon USA reps page, making sure that they're connected on our page. 4 days later, 5 essential tasks for new Avon reps. 4 days after that is 50 customers, how to find 50 customers. So yeah, so it's 12 emails, and I get a lot of responses email-wise back when I send them. So that's what I've been doing.
So once they sign up, you put them into your Constant Contact system, and then you schedule those emails. Does Constant Contact charge you? I've
Mm-hmm.
never used that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
it's good.
cheap.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive. But if you refer people, then you get like $75 off. And so I try to refer, I mean, not like I'm trying to refer you guys, but I've had other friends that use it. Yeah, it is expensive. And then, so since I have the email sequence already made, I just have to add in their email address. And yeah, I don't know. The cost of it for me is worth it because it saves me so much time every month. You know, oh, who do I have to email and which one am I on and all that. But I also keep like a template of other emails that I'm sending. So not in Constant Contact, just through my Gmail of, you know, this is your first order, you know, congrats on your first order. Make sure your second order is at least 150, you know, goodies for me. So even having those templates works for me.
Cool. Do you mind sharing your code for? I mean, I'd be interested in looking into it, and you shared it with us, so share your code in the chat box.
Yeah.
I tried that too. I have Constant Contact, and I was going to start a drip email for the onboarding, but I couldn't afford it. It was too expensive. So I don't have that many people joining all the time. So what I did, like I just had one start yesterday, and I only have 4 emails that I send out. So what I did was I already programmed them in. I put her in a group because you can only send it by group. I put her in a group, and then I scheduled, because I since it's only 4, I do it one a day. So her first 4 days, she's getting something from me. And so I've just already scheduled all 4 of those already, and now I can forget about it. And so that way it saved me the cost of having to pay to be able to have the drip campaign.
Yeah.
Arlene,
So you just
isn't that
scheduled it like in Gmail?
In the Constant Contact.
Okay.
It's like Project Broadcast where you can schedule things. You can schedule your emails. So you can do it. So I've had it before, and then I stopped just going through some stuff last 2 years. But what Jessica's saying is, so it's like the Project Broadcast, as in you can schedule, you can set up drip campaigns, you can still do all of the stuff that you're wanting to do just through email. And it's so good. But the cost, yeah, you do want to try to get some people to refer. And that's one reason why I stopped, was because of the costs. And I didn't have a lot of team members, you know, doing different stuff at that moment. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to step away from this. But it's worth, because that's what I've been looking at. And I've went to a couple other email services, and I don't think they're as good as Constant Contact. And it could be because I really, once I got used to Constant Contact, you know, it's just hard to not use it anymore. But Flowdesk, and there's another one, but they're not set up as nice as Constant Contact, because they have templates, and once you set stuff up, I mean, it looks so nice. So yeah, use Jessica's code to get in.
I think at Constant Contact, I think it's kind of a cumbersome technology. Like, it took me a little bit to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing, speaking of the cost for it, so I have been with Constant Contact for 5 years maybe, and twice I have called them and said, hey, you know, I'm having a hard time like paying for this right now. Can you help me out? So I did this actually when COVID started, before, you know, like I think it was the day that our warehouse closed in Ohio. And I was like, you know, can you help me out? Like I can't afford this right now. And I think they gave me like 3 months free. So just call and say, you know, I want to use this, but it's a little expensive, and see what they say. The worst they could say is no. And yeah.
right?
That's cool. I love that.
Yeah, they've had great customer service every time I've talked to them on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say that I love their customer service. If I have an issue, they're quick to get on the phone. They're quick to help you. They're super nice. I love it. It's just I couldn't afford to add that drip part to it, because it is expensive. But like you're saying, Arlene, I got so used to it that I don't want to give it up. and unfortunately, I'm not really figured out how to get people to join my email list. So it's not really so much that I'm adding customers. Unfortunately, it is more for my team. But I just like the presentation, the way that my emails look. Seem to me, I think they're more inviting than just doing it through my AOL.
Okay, so I will say, okay, so on that, I never looked at, I mean, I did, but I didn't. So for my blog page, I have, oh my gosh, a pop-up page where people can sign up for like the online brochure, and it goes to MailChimp, but MailChimp is connected to Constant Contact. So you can have some stuff set up like that, but so yeah, I haven't really been on top of everything the last couple of years, but what I had it all set up. I had a customer section set up just like the project broadcast. I had a customer list, I had a team list, I had a removal list. Then you have, like at one time, I was doing regular newsletters with tips for everybody, so not just my team. And so I had an email list of just that too. So I knew not to market to the reps. That would just be the email, the newsletter list. So you can set up different lists in there, and you can upload just like you do in Project Broadcast. You can download your Excel sheet and then upload it to the group too. So it does take a minute to figure it out, but that's with anything, y'all. So even if you want to, I have wanted to throw my computer more than once on a lot of stuff. So, but once you get used to it, you're going to love it. Like it's awesome. Or just find something else that doesn't cost as much. But yeah, there's a difference in how many people you put in there. So the price changes on that, and the price changes, like Jessica has the automation, which is the drip campaign, where you say your name, Rosario? Okay, good. She doesn't, so it makes it a little bit cheaper on her end for that. So yeah.
Yeah, it was like a $50 increase if I added the drip campaign, so I just couldn't do it at this time.
So it's paid by how many emails you send. It's not like a set monthly fee.
It is a set monthly fee, but if you, like, I can't remember how many emails you have to have at one time and in there, people in there, and then if you go, like, say over 1,500, it bumps you up to the next level, and then adding the drip campaign kind of bumps you to another level.
This is the page if y'all want to look. And it does say price based on number of contacts.
Okay.
And so they do have a $20. See, I haven't been in with them for a while. I was on the $45 plan. But I know, because I asked them a couple months ago, I'm thinking about coming back. One, can I get my old account back? And two, could they do any deals? And I think they will. So just like, I mean, get in for a month and then do what Jessica said, and maybe they'll give us all a discount on something. But this is what they're talking about. So pop-up forms, you can customize it if you're on the advanced plan or plus plan. And there's all kinds of things that you can do with this. This is the other cool part, just so y'all know. Everyone who does not open your email the first time, you can say, yes, send it to them again, or you can already have it scheduled up to resend to everyone who did not open your email the first time. And so,
that resend, I just started using that, and it has been working for my customer emails. It sends it again, and last time I got 2 more orders, and I was like, that's totally worth it. That's great.
That's cool. I love this.
So yeah, so anyway, so just, I would say go in there and play with it. And then I know, like Jennifer, you have a big team, so it, you know, depending on how many people you put in your email list, and you just start out, if you want to, just with your new people, and then go from there. But anyway, all right, Jessica, I'm going back to it. So if they need a code, I'm gonna use your code.
Cool.
All right. I think Dawn is on. She's been trying to get on for a minute and it keeps saying like pending. It will not let her fully on. But I want it, if you're okay, Jennifer, I want it to cover next week first.
Sure.
So we can, because next week is special. So y'all want to make sure that you write this down. And I'll be in the Go Leader group for anybody that says, why are we not on? Because we're going to do a new time. Let me go to her message. Okay, so if you remember last week, Dawn was talking about Nikki from the DSWA. And if it was not last week, it was the week before, but we got her.
It was yeah,
So-
Nikki Hinahoa.
Yes.
Hinahoa, is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
July 15th. And we have to do a different time. So let me look. And I'll confirm, and I'm going to make an event in the group to make sure that everyone has it. Maybe she can get on. Dawn, are you here?
It looks like she's trying.
Maybe she's in. I think she's in.
So are we gonna do it, just a couple of questions around that while we're waiting for her. Are we gonna do it on Zoom?
Yes, we're doing it on Zoom. And we need to,
It keeps kicking her out. Oh, there she is.
Dawn.
Hi, Dawn. Oh, now it's connecting.
Are you on?
Is there a maximum number of participants then with Zoom? I don't know how that works.
I really don't know how many people I can have, but I can look at that in just a second. Dawn, do you want to talk about our meeting next week with Nikki? And I'll look on the Zoom.
I think she got kicked out again.
No, she's
Yeah,
there.
she's on.
There? Oh, okay.
Mute. Okay, I'm here.
Yay!
I came on my phone. My computer is completely restarting, so
Oh,
I love technology.
Yeah.
yeah. I know, especially when you're in a hurry to get
Mhm.
connected. It never seems to work. I'm sorry, what were you asking me?
okay. So we're just now talking about Nikki being on our call next week. So one, do you remember the time that we need to change it to so it's not super early in the morning for her?
Right, she suggested 1 o'clock.
And
That
is
she
that Eastern time or Central time?
Central. She suggested because I'm Central, so we were talking Central time. So yeah, she was talking 1 o'clock Central time. If that worked for everyone, that would work for her.
Works for me.
And then Deanna, we can have 100 people on our call. So that's with whatever the low plan that I have.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So if you want to be sure that you're here, you might want to make sure that you log in a little bit early, because we're probably going to want to invite our leaders on our teams too. So you don't want to miss your spot.
So just for
Right.
clarity, that's really only 2 hours later, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then we wanted to talk about what would we want to discuss, like what's 1 or 2 topics that we want to talk about with her, like to have her cover. So Dawn, did she have any ideas on what she wanted to cover?
No, she said it was pretty much up to you guys on what you wanted her to discuss. So.
Yeah, I like Jessica's idea, building and developing leaders. I think that's something that a lot of us are struggling with.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I think that's a great,
And then,
and I'll bet that'll take the whole hour.
yeah, building and developing leaders. And then I would say maybe something around personal development, some things that we can do for personal development. You know, I was reading a book the other day that said your team is only as strong as your leader. So when you look at yourself, how much self-development are you doing? How much activity are you doing? If your team's not doing something, it may be a reflection. So it kind of hit me on the head. I was like, dang it.
Jessica, you have good ideas.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
Jessica
well,
also said, and how to get new reps to have a vision or see what Avon can do. So maybe something around onboarding, kind of.
yeah. Well, I know like when I first started, I watched those Rich and Famous with Avon, those DVDs over and over and over, and it really like gave me a vision. Oh, like real people can do this, and
Yes.
there's not anything like that now. And so like I want to be able to share that and be like, look at what you can do with Avon. You just have to work. Like this is an opportunity. So
We all need to message everybody in executive offices in Avon. I have been begging for something like that forever. So we all need, they call it like a sizzle video that kind of shows you the potential. We all need to beg
Well,
for that again.
Nikki and I talked a lot about when she was connected to Avon and how she just loved that. I think she would love to get connected with Avon again to do some of her programs.
We went through, I don't know, Jennifer, if you were involved back then, but I've been through a number of her trainings
Yes.
at
Yeah,
different
the
conferences.
one that they did in Chicago was very good. That's the most prominent one I remember when we were in Chicago.
Every one of them. They did a version of the 40 by 40 by 4, and it broke it down really easy. And what I remember is, so you talk to somebody, and so who do you know that owns a pet?
Yeah.
And you write those 4 names down.
The 6 degrees.
Yeah, what kind of pet? And then cat. Okay, so who owns cats and who? So it helps break it down for them into real, real people.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that was one that sticks in my head.
Deanna also says reigniting our teams. Maybe coming through this and reigniting our teams. So those are some good options with. That's a good one. Yeah, they did the AUL Academy too.
Right. She worked with Tammy Jernigan. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. So any other details around that? Anything that we need to do for her, Dawn? I mean, and I would tell her too, if she's got books or programs or anything she wants to share with us, let us know, because I mean, we're open to hearing about those things too.
Yeah. Well, I think she, I think because she agreed to this, she's kind of going to be promoting, obviously, DSWA membership and things like that. But she asked me the spelling to Michael Senchak's name. And so she might be doing some researching herself to see, because she said she got kicked out when old Avon, was bought out, and it became New Avon. And then they didn't want anything to do with old Avon. And she was classified as old Avon.
Yeah.
And she said that's kind of when, she lost her connection with Avon. But I think what the angle Avon's going right now, it would be a good thing to pull her back in with the company and help us all.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so the 2 topics we want, what did we decide?
Well,
Yeah,
and kind of building on, did somebody else have something to say?
No, I just got written down the 3 that we just talked about,
Oh.
but we can give her a choice of those 3, or we can narrow it down, whichever you guys want to do.
Give her the choice, whichever one she feels most pertinent.
Yeah, because she's
good.
amazing. She could, even tie it all together for us and bring it full circle.
She is amazing. I couldn't believe that she talked to me on the phone for like close to 2 hours. I was just like so fired up afterwards. She is just a very giving person.
That's cool. So that kind of leads us to our topics for today, and we have a few minutes, or about 30 minutes left, which one was your team, what was it? Something with your team culture.
Let's see, what did you put?
I gotta go back and look too.
Okay, you said team culture in the summer and leader self-development.
Yeah. So I don't know, you guys know that Arlene and I are huge Ray Higdon junkies, and we follow him and do a lot of his trainings and stuff like that. Well, one thing that he talks a lot about is your team culture, how you make people feel. Not just your top 5%, your top sellers, your top leaders, but everybody on your team. Because the general idea with any kind of direct sales or multi-level marketing is keep them around the campfire long enough and they might catch a spark and they might take off. And so the way that you build your team, recognize your team, encourage your team, goes back to your culture of your team. And I don't know about you guys, but the last couple campaigns, we were like on a high, and now I'm seeing like the curve. I'm like, I don't want to bend this curve. I liked that peak. But I was thinking that, you know, even with summer and people kind of being disconnected, trying to think of some different ways to engage my team, and just keep them around the campfire, keep them interested, even when they're busy trying to figure out what's going to happen. And like for us, I mean, we're probably going to be homeschooling the boys next year, and it's going to be interesting for us. It's a whole new world. So, you know, that's probably going to be a lot of families that are on our teams. So I was just thinking, what kind of ideas are you doing to keep your team engaged, to keep them moving forward, and just helping them feel part of a team?
So I was seeing another leader from another direct sales company that does a lot of like Zoom get-togethers, you know, like happy hour, coffee chat. And I know like you guys have done bingo with your teams. And this leader, she has like game nights or like a cooking night. So like just activities that you could get together like as friends to build relationships that way. So like I was thinking of doing like, you know, a cooking hour or something where we could make Aspira protein balls or I don't know, something. And then I've also seen that on Etsy, you can get like game night things through PowerPoint, like a Family Feud. I think there's like a Jeopardy. And it's just like a fun game night virtually. And I thought that'd be kind of fun to do with my team. And not necessarily to have like a, you know, it's a, not necessarily to do it as a reward, but just as something to get together and be with friends and I don't know.
Well, let them get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Yeah, because that's one of my favorite parts of RepFest. And so, you know, I feel like we're going to miss that connection this year. And so I was looking for ideas. So you could even do like virtual Family Feud after, you know, the first day of conference. Get together that night and chat about, you know, what you learned, and then do like a virtual Family Feud or something. Keep them in that spirit.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I don't know. I just thought like Family Feud, like that'd be great. Now, also I was wondering, I don't even know how many of my team members would come. So like even like if we partnered with other, you know, leaders and had, you know, kind of like a, you know, how we used to do like sales meetings and all that, kind of doing something like that and creating even a larger kind of Avon community.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be kind of fun too.
Like a mixer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know that Joanna Niederhauser and I in Ohio, we did a team dinner with our teams together. And one of the requirements were they had to sit by someone they didn't know, whether that was on their own team or on the other team. And so we had like a little questionnaire that they asked each other, and they got to know each other. And even still, some of my team and her team are still connected and still chat and share ideas now.
That's the advantage of being person to person.
Hmm.
It's not as easy to do this way because you can check out.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no, Jessica, I like that idea, and my brain went. So if we have if Jennifer's team and my team get together to do something, and then do a competition between the two teams,
Mm.
that way we're engaging both, and maybe that kind of thing. So
That's fun, having like a little competitive spirit, right?
yeah, we could, we used to do scavenger hunts,
Mhm.
and it would be this team against that team. But, so we could do that kind of thing. Or I liked your Family Feud. So Jennifer's team and my team, Family
Against
Feuding,
each other. Yeah.
and whoever wins, I don't know what they win, but, maybe just the satisfaction of saying, I won. Sometimes, because the bingo that you guys turned us on to, when we do that, our team sales go up
Hmm.
because they like it.
And if you have a larger team, you could do leaders teams against each other in like a
Absolutely.
Family Feud too.
Yeah, I think that may be because they're fun.
Mhm.
I don't know what you would ask, but they're fun.
Well, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm lacking social connection. Like
Yeah.
I have a friend that is like an introvert, and she's like, "Oh, it's fine staying at home." I was like, "I'm going insane.
Yes.
I love people." She's like, "I don't like people," and I'm like, "I don't know why we're friends, but I need to be around people."
Yes.
And I think a lot of our, and I have to imagine that some of our team is feeling that way too.
Absolutely.
So if we can create a way for them to feel like, hey, this is an outlet for me or a connection for me, then they're going to stay around longer. They're not
I
going to
think-
feel pressured to have $2,000 orders until, bam, something hits them and they're like, oh, I want to do this now.
Exactly. That's what any games do, I think. It takes it out of business. It takes it out of, oh my God, I gotta get. And it's, oh, cool, let's just have fun.
Mm-hmm. And so there's even some other ways. I mean, I'm doing in my team presently, I started a couple weeks ago, was I'm doing posts in my group at least a couple of times a week just around getting to know them. So I did one after the 4th of July that Sunday and was like, just post, below in the comments, post a picture of your favorite memory this weekend or your favorite picture from this weekend. So I got to see pictures of like their family and their grandchildren and their fireworks shows, and just got to kind of have conversation with them to get to know them a little bit better. Because as my team grows, I feel like I'm not connected to them like I used to be.
You're not.
Yeah. And so and then I've done other ones like post a picture of your favorite meal that you cook, or your favorite snack, or, you could do all kinds of different engaging posts. But those are something that I'm trying on my team. And I noticed that I get more interaction on those posts than any other post I make. But once you get them commenting on a post and they feel comfortable, they will begin to comment on other posts, and they're going to get other information that you're putting out there.
So what's interesting hearing you say that, Jennifer, is one of the things for a year and a half I've been doing what's called a Monday Minute with Mary Kay. And it's less than a minute video, goes out on our group team page as well as an email to every team member, and just a minute of inspiration to start your week off. Well, I was really hearing doing Monday Minutes with Mary Kay and interviewing, and I got this from what my church has been doing throughout this time that we're in right now, and interviewing team members. So this last week we started it, and we're going to do like every other Monday is going to have a team member. And it was 11 minutes, and I was asking the questions, and she, again, real honest talk. You're a chemo. She almost lost her business 3 times. That post has had more views and more comments and more likes than anything. And so asking them to just have a conversation with you, record it, and then do it as a motivation to start the week. I have just this just happened Monday, and I've had 4 people call me personally thanking me for that and how much they've learned and inspired them.
Because it wasn't about how that person is a rock star. It was just
Nope.
getting to know that person and their struggles.
It was
Kind
real.
of like a
Exactly.
highlight.
Yes.
Cool.
So the kind of questions I asked, what was interesting is I prepared her for some, but I didn't prepare for her others because I really was led for this. So my first question was, share with us a little bit about yourself. Where do you live? Are you married? Do you have kids? Then from there, it led to, so Tamara, how exactly did you start this Avon gig of yours? And then she shared that she was a loyal customer for many years, spending $100 to $200. Her rep needed to leave, so she was floundering around, went to avon.com. And her 10-year anniversary is actually September 11th this year, and I brought her into the business. She was a lead when district managers were around. And because I was the only one working with the manager, I got her, and I've been on this journey with her. So she kind of shared a little bit. And then I asked her, so there was a time in your business where you were at a sales level and you were at a leadership level and you lost that. Tell us a little bit about that. So she continued on and kind of went deeper in. And then I asked her, so now you've got your sales title back and you've got your leadership title back. Share with us what tips you have and how that worked for you. And so she shared how her family, her team members, her husband, you know, he's at all of her events with her. And then I shared a fun fact. I said, with that said, my husband's a big helper in my business as well. And a fun fact many of you may not know is my husband and I stood up for Tamara and her husband when they got married. And so it was just really bringing, and how Avon was a vehicle that brought us to be friends. And then at the, you know, and I kept saying what I'm hearing you say that I love, and just making sure that she was heard. And then at the end, I said, you know, Tamara, one thing I really know about you is your grit and your determination and your tenacity and your never giving up spirit. And so what would you say to somebody who's in that space right now that they're like, you know, do I really want to do this? And she did. And it was just beautiful. And then the last question I asked her, I said, okay, let's do something fun. I know you're a foodie. What's your favorite go-to restaurant and why?
Huh. I love that.
Uh-huh.
I love that.
And it was 11 minutes.
And you said you
So did you do it like on Zoom and just did like a little chat on Zoom and then turned
Thanks
it
to
into
you
a YouTube
ladies.
video?
I think, yes, thanks to all of you. I was like, okay, so Zoom is going up on YouTube. So I have to be able to do this. And so that's exactly what we did, because I have a YouTube channel for the team.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, and you could even use that as like a recruiting tool. You had somebody kind of in her similar type situation. Yes. Yep, there's your own sizzle video.
With that said, the other thing that we've started doing is anybody we've talked to, we're inviting them in on our Thursday night and every other Saturday. Inviting them in to see, is this really what they want to be a part of? Like, do they see themselves? Because we're fun and we're crazy and we go around with, like, 80% of it is about who we are and why we do what we do, and only 20% is about the business.
That's true. 100% true. Anybody else? Any good ideas that you're doing to build team culture or keep people just engaged and excited and part of the team? I was wondering how your power hours are going. Are they still going as well as they had whenever y'all first started those?
Mine personally is growing like crazy.
Cool.
I'm not as consistent with it as I should be. So, no, they're not working, but that's my fault, not theirs.
Consistency is the key there.
Absolutely.
Mine, so I used to do it 4 days a week, and I've dropped it down to 2 days a week, because I was finding that the people who would come on just wanted to just talk. And I'm like, no, I'm here to work. Like, I want to work. Like, we should be working. So I'm trying to just kind of think a little differently. You know, how can I allow time for us to talk, ask questions, and all that, and get work done? So.
Well, and that goes back to what, you know, Ray teaches about team culture is whenever they feel connected, they will stay with you longer. So I'm not saying, you know, take up 2 hours of your day just to talk, but you know what I mean? And because I'm a goal-driven person. I'm just like, this is what we need to do. These are the actions, you know, and that's all I've ever had in my team was just hammering down, this is what we're going to do, only Avon, only products, only how you're going to do it in my group. And so this has been a whole change of lane for me. But I've seen people come back around that weren't around before.
If you think about it, when you, like, I'm paparazzi. I mean, I have paparazzi and they're on my feed all the time. I have gotten to the point where I don't pay attention to them. And it's the same thing with us. If we keep beating them over the head, here's your goal, here's your this, you got to do that, you got to do, they're not going to listen. So my question with all of you is, with all of the emails that Avon is sending, because they are sending them, do you think by us sending them like one a day, and I'm not saying it's wrong, do you think it's too much? I mean, I've had 2 people recently say to me, stop, because it's too much.
Interesting hearing you say that, Benna. We just had a conversation on Sunday about that exact same thing, me and 2 other leaders. And what we've decided to do, because we wonder if they're not even paying attention to the emails that come from me because they think that I'm corporate for whatever reason. So we've changed the wording to say your team power hour, your team chat, your team newsletter, and putting that in the subject line so it's separate from, so they know that this is a place that they can go to that's not as big as Avon, that they can be a part of.
Okay.
Mary, you're just full of ideas.
I know.
I have an amazing team and an amazing mentor.
You and Jessica, y'all are just like full of all the ideas today.
Every time. I love it.
Well, and you know, I will share with you that in my journey, one of my mentors had said to me, you know, Mary, you've got so many great ideas. When are you going to do something with them? Because I'd always tell people what I was going to do, but then I would never do it. And so what I realized is I'm not going to tell you until I've done it. Yeah. You know how long I've been wanting to share that tracking tool with you ladies, but because it wasn't complete and it wasn't ready, I wasn't telling you what I was going to do. I waited until it was done.
That's my biggest problem, is keeping track of who I did what with.
Yeah.
You know?
I use notes in Vibe. Crystal says, what numbers do you share where they are in the year? For example, I ran the report for Destination Avon, was able to show my teammates how close she was. I gave her the numbers, also great mind trick. Take that sales number minus commission to where the sales, and it wasn't overwhelming. I mean, I still do a team update. That's what I've been working on all morning. Like, I update top 10 in sales, top 10 in online sales, top 10 new LOA 1 to 8, leadership levels, recruits. I welcome all of our first, additions. I still do the updates because those 5%ers, those top producers, they still want to be recognized too. They're fueled by that. So I have to find a healthy combination between doing that recognition for those people that are hungry for it and still bringing those people around the campfire that maybe aren't, at that level or not even interested at that level right now, just so they will stay around. Because I had a girl that had been with me for, 3 years. And when all this pandemic hit, she has not had an order below $400 since campaign, 10. because the need changed in her life, and she had stayed around long enough that she figured out, hey, I need to make this work. And now she's like she used to have like $50, $75 orders. So, I mean, that's the idea, is basically keep your team around as long as you can until they catch that spark. Do anybody else, do y'all do team recognition? Like, I call this Woohoo Wednesday. It's Woohoo Wednesday. We're going to celebrate our successes.
Shout out Sundays.
Oh, shout out Sundays.
I do team stars and stats. I think I got that from Lydia Riley, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stars and stats, and I do it every campaign. My biggest problem with it is that it takes me forever to do, like 3 hours. And so yes, it's great. I love it. I have found that when I share that with the whole team, great. But then when I also reach out to everybody individually, goes really far. You know, hey, did you see you were number 7 out of the team for your sales this campaign? Da, 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 da. That goes a long way. So.
So not sure if you have an assistant, but if you get one, you can have your template of what you want on that, and then go back to Project Broadcast. If you're using that will always come from you. But you could have her go in and schedule your text to go out, like, because they do like the one-on-one. I still like the one-on-one, even though I don't talk to my regional or whatever the coaches are called now. But I still like when she sends a couple texts to me, like she's done it a couple times over the last couple months. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. Even though I don't really, we don't talk all the time, but you could have someone do some of that for you if you ever get someone.
How do you get an assistant? Like, what's that all about?
So yeah. So this is just, I'm going to call myself out because I'm so guilty of, I was going on such a good high, I feel like, and then I just let personal stuff just shut me down at the end of 2018. So Crystal knows my whole story, but anyway, so an assistant is someone that can anything, and I got this from Lisa Wilbur, but anything that someone else can do for you, but you still need it done. So like labeling books, you're bagging your orders, then going on the Emily side of it, the online technology stuff, getting someone who does your emails once you have certain things. And I had a sister do it for a while. She lives in South Dakota, but I went online and we recorded YouTube videos and I showed her everything, and she was really good keeping up my blogs and doing all this stuff, and then she just stopped. But you can have someone, you can teach them. And there for a while I had someone coming just every Wednesday, 4 to 6 hours. On Wednesday I paid her in Avon products, and I didn't have to worry about paying her in cash. Now one of my leaders is coming. She's not on the call today. But she comes to my house, and same thing, pay her in Avon products. So, and she comes and does the team packages, anything that I need done that's not on the computer, because she doesn't know how to do all the stuff on the computer. But I know Lisa suggested finding a high school student who wants to work, either where they're working for free, like an internship thing to count on something else, or you could pay them something. With my brand that I've got that's fixing to launch, they're going to show me a virtual assistant. So I'm excited to see, because I'm going to use her for both. I don't know exactly how much that is or what all that entails just yet, but it's still the same as to me. And this is what I did. I just made a list of every single thing that I wanted done, every single campaign and every single month. And then I looked at what could I delegate to an assistant so I could be doing the productive stuff. And because of that, we sold, some of y'all's numbers are way more than mine, but in 2018, we were right under 500,000, and my team has never sold 500,000. And we were like gold leader, hitting that consistently and hitting all the numbers that, I wanted. And I thought we were going in the right direction. But going back to what Benna said, the consistency, I didn't keep it either. I just let stuff happen and I just kind of stepped back. But anyway, so I would say just make out a list of everything that you want to do and see what you can delegate. Even this virtual assistant is supposed to be able to like log into my stuff. So she could post the idea that Jennifer is talking about on the non-Avon business stuff. She could post a couple of things like that where I wouldn't have to worry about it. And I could have that consistently being done in there to keep people around the campfire, but it will be posted under my name so they think I'm the one doing it. So I hope, yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea. So I caught something you said, your brand that you're fisting to launch.
I know.
What is this?
Okay, so I thought I was going to launch something, and I might still do that at some point, talking about sales tips, because even if my team don't listen to me all the time, I know how to sell. Crystal has been taking some guidance from me, and her team has been growing. And so I thought I was doing that, and that might come, but I am launching, I don't know what I'm going to call it, I guess just with my name, but it's going to be Reinvent Yourself and Change Your Life. And so I've been working on my free PDF. So I have, and it's like 10 pages long. Wait till y'all see my logo. So with Marina Simone, who I found through Ray, that's what she does. She helps you launch your brand in whatever field you want it to be in. And I had already started, I have the link, but I haven't done anything with it. So I have a blog page for this. I created a business page on Facebook probably a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And so when I was talking to Candace, that's what we decided. I really need to go towards the mindset part of it, because I think mindset is crucial. And in the process of me, because I should be 2 months married and I'm not, and going through all this crap with someone else, the last few months, I've been looking at, well, how can I like reinvent myself? And like my life, y'all, it's a whole mess right now, but just, okay, well, what could my life look like and not give up? So anyway, so it's going to be reinvent.
That's awesome. So it's basically your personal brand.
Yes, it's going to be
your personal branding and sharing things you've learned through your own experiences, kind of like an attraction tool.
Yes. And
to attract people to you.
And what she was saying, because I'll have coaching packages, I'll have different things that is completely outside of Avon. So it's another stream of income, you know, which, you know, you hear the millionaires say you have at least 7 streams of income. And then, but what she was saying, you can tell them, like, if they want to work with you, well, that's how you bridge them into your network marketing business. But she'll tell you straight up, my brand is my baby, my network marketing business, because I don't know what company she's in, but she said that's just a part of her, but her brand is her baby. And she's on track to double her 7-figure income. So, and that's, awesome. Yeah. But yeah. I'm excited because I just want to help people and I want to feel better. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, and I always feel better when I'm helping other people too. So it kind of goes hand in hand. Well, that is so cool. So cool. But now back to the assistant part, something you did say about the sharing things on social media. That is a blessing that we have Avon Social. You guys, they have all of those posts in there already made for you. Everything I've shared, I've just scheduled out from Avon Social twice a week. So, you know, if you can't get an assistant, use those tools that are already there for you for free in doing that. But then I had a girl from my church. She was a young mom. She had a new baby, and she needed out of the house for 4 or 5 hours a week. So she was like, can I work for you for Avon? And I was like, yes. So her mom kept the baby for 4 or 5 hours, and she came over, and I had a list of stuff, and she worked for me for about 2 years, and it was so nice. Just all those things, those tedious tasks that she sacked up my order for me. She did all my books. You know, she did some different emailing, some mailing and stuff like that for me. So, I mean, you never know, church, friends, there's people all around you that could use, 4 or 5 hours out of their house, that would rather come into your crazy world.
How I started it, I posted on my Facebook page. I said, I'm looking for an assistant with my Avon business. Anyone interested? And I had like 10 people come back and say yes. And at that time, I wasn't thinking about having them do the online till after I already had someone come in and start doing some of the things. And then I was like, well, I could have someone, do some of the online tasks for me. And my sister is great online. And so she was doing things. So you kind of want to find someone that's smarter than you too for the online, but she was actually creating and doing different stuff than what I had thought about. That was really helping the blog page and do some of that. And so, I mean, I would just put it out there and see, even in your team group, if you know someone that you trust, and that's where I was, I did go with my sister a little bit more back then because I trusted her. I didn't want to just give anybody online access, but I'm excited to start with the VA. I think that's going to really help on a lot of stuff. So, but yeah.
That is super cool. Super cool.
Yeah, it
Proud of
frees
you.
up, especially when we're wanting for all of us on here, we want that bigger business. We don't want just, oh, well, we made $100 and go on. We want the bigger income. We want the bigger business. And I think not doing some of those things, because sometimes labeling books and bagging orders is just not the thing that I want to do, even though I still want the sales and I still want to show my team that I can sell, but I can have someone else doing some of the other stuff that I don't have to do. So, yeah.
And I think, like Donna Reed Mitchell's good at this too. Her kids are her employees. She gets them to work. They do a lot of her marketing and her pictures and her orders and follow-ups with her customers. They do a lot of all of that stuff too. So you've got teenagers in your household, make them earn their weight in food.
Want to eat this week? Work.
Yeah. We are really over time, but just real quick, I thought we wanted to just mention self-development. Is there anything, any book, anybody that you follow, any trainers that you get a lot of insight from, anybody that you would recommend that you're following, that you're using for self-development? Arlene, will you share Marina Simone? I don't know how many of you guys know about her.
Okay, so Marina talks about, so this is how I first found her. So through Ray, she does a 333 prospecting, and there's even something free. So I'll share it to the Gold Leader group. But she really talks about how to get leads for your business. And that's how she started her brand. And like all the people that watch your stories, all the people in your memories list that has commented or liked on things in the past, all of those are considered leads. And then you can go through and see if they're hot leads, warm leads, cold leads, you didn't even know they were still on your friend list, that kind of thing. And then she does have, like if you wanted to go into branding, or she even has a leadership lab, and I'm not a part of that. So the leadership lab is network marketing. So probably what you're doing, Jennifer, with Ray's coaching, it's based on your network marketing business, but then she has a brand class too.
Yeah.
And
you can follow her on Facebook. Isn't it Healers is her group, or is her page?
Yeah, Healers. Let me see. I have it. Hold on. And she was just live when we started this. She went live in there because she's launching a new class.
And she's extra, y'all. She's extra. She's a lot extra, but she's good.
It's called Elite Academy, Elite Healers. And if you talk to
that's the paid one.
Is that the paid one? I don't know what the free one is. I'm in it, but
she has a free one. It's called Moms Who Slay Online Sales Healers, and it's HELLERS. HEELERS, healers, like high heels. Moms Who Slay Online Sales Healers. And yeah, it's a free group, and she shares tips and other people share tips, and nobody says what the name of their company is, which is what I love about that. It's very generic.
Yeah. So she does, I mean, it's really, really good just to hear a different take, because her main focus on the prospecting is Instagram. So she teaches you how to prospect on Instagram instead of Facebook more. But then she even has tips on Facebook groups, tips on TikTok, how to sell on there. And so she's really started expanding more, but I love it. So, yeah.
Rosario, you were supposed to show us something. Go for it.
Just what I'm reading right now, which is High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard.
Oh.
I just started it, so I still have ways. It's a big book, but I liked him. He's very, very interesting
Yes.
and helpful. And then I see Jessica posted a lot of the ones that John Maxwell, I do the Minute with Maxwell every morning, Darren Daly, Rachel Hollis. Yeah, I do a lot of those too.
Yeah, me too. I'm so sad about Rachel Hollis, but we won't spend time on that. Go ahead.
Tony Robbins is another good one. I think the comeback challenge group is still open, and there's a lot of, even somebody named, I don't know his name, ETE something, I don't know. He's been posting in there, and he seems really positive. But Tony went live yesterday. I haven't watched it because I thought I was going to be at my mom's house today on my computer because my internet went out yesterday morning. And I about died, y'all. But yeah.
This is one that I consumed pretty quickly, and I got this for if you are number 1, 2, or 3 in online sales on my team, you get this book. Freakishly Effective Social Media for Network Marketers. This is by Ray Higdon and Jessica, his wife, and he also has Freakishly Effective Leadership for Network Marketing, 2 books. They're real thin. They're real easy read. If you're not a reader, the audio is pretty good too. So those are a couple of books that I follow or I've read lately.
And you said you give it to your top 3 online?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, once they've hit it, then they don't get it again. But yeah, unless they're a leader, they can pass it on to another team member.
Okay.
Anybody else, anybody that you follow that you gain any inspiration from, or that is books that you've read that have been really helpful?
Well, I think that's it. Okay, so 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, noon, and 11. Make sure that y'all mark your calendars. As far as I know, it will be the same link as this one, but Joanne did message, and I'll message you after. She has unlimited, so watch for the link in the group. I will post it in the group, and then y'all can share it with your leaders. We want to have a good crowd, for her, because we really want to hear what Nikki has to share with us. So, and thank you, Dawn, for getting her.
Yay.
So next week, same place, just a little bit different time.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Bye.
Y'all
Bye, guys.